Bonjour, bonne soirée. You may be watching this in the day or in the evening. I am making this video on, this is the forecast, prévision météo, mardi 24 juin. That's not the date today. Today is, let's look for the date. I am making this, here we are. I am making this video on, so this is the weather bulletin. Météo is weather. It comes from météorologique, météo for short, because météorologique is a very long name. So the bulletin météo du lundi 23 juin, so Monday, not capitalized, lundi 23 juin 2014 à midi 55. Now, as you can see that on my screen, you see that it's lundi 23 juin 10h54. Of course, this is the French weather. It was published about 2 hours ago for them, a couple hours ago, 3 hours ago for them, 2 or 3 hours ago for them, at noon. I'd like, in this video, to get you guys excited for Chapter 2. And I will do that by immersing you into the weather that the French are watching and listening to today on their iPads or on their computer or perhaps on television, since you do have weather reports on television that are uploaded to the French website for France 2 et France 3, Météo. And we'll also look at les prévisions de Météo France as well, which is another website, like a weather.com. And I want you to remember that as you learn a language, there are many different facets of that learning. There are moments where you're simply working on what you can do, what you can say, and that will certainly be our emphasis when we go to the activities for Vocabulaire 1. The emphasis is going to be listening and being able to identify the new vocabulary words for talking about seasons, as well as talking about the climate, or la météo, as you see in your ebook on page 74, or the first part, Vocabulary 1 of Chapter 2. And you will also be learning how to construct sentences where you say what the weather is in the present tense, as well as, let's not go any further for now, in the present tense. And so you will be learning the concept of il as an impersonal grammatical il. Not il as in the pronoun replacing he, but il as in a kind of it. To say it rains, it snows, it is sunny, it is 20 degrees out. In France, you're going to use il fait. That's a new verb, faire, to talk about making or doing. Il fait is also how you talk about weather. Il fait beau. It's beautiful out. Il fait soleil. Il fait du soleil. It's sunny out. Il fait mauvais. It's horrible out. It's yucky out. Il fait bon. It's like nice and mild and just perfect out. Il fait gris. It's gray out. Or the word for rain, pleut. Il pleut. Or the word for snow, il neige. That's what you'll be focusing on. But now, let me work on a different facet, which is the facet that is developing your tolerance for immersion in a language that, it will take years to be able to understand word for word. So why not start right now by developing a tolerance for listening for the gist of things and enjoying the immersion? Because even if consciously you don't understand each word, your mind is still listening and capturing the accent and the rhythm. You're enjoying the poetry of this other language. And by challenging yourself, by immersing yourself from time to time, which you can now do thanks to the internet, you'll also enjoy the activities that are more hands-on, what can I do, when you practice your own ability to talk about the weather in exercises on iLearn. So now let me just immerse you. And I can, as I said, because of the internet, and because trademark and all those different types of laws that limit viewership don't apply to news and weather. You can watch the French weather. So here, as I said, météo, and here you have different links for weather. Météo 2, 3, France 2, France 3. And here I see Météo France. I see the sun rise today. Lever is to rise, is at 5h47. And I see the coucher is at 21h48. So that's 9:48. That's when the sun starts to go down. It's not fully down until around 10:30, 11. So you can see we've just passed the summer solstice. And France is very much to the north. So they've got these very long summer days. You see aujourd'hui. Aujourd'hui en France, oh, you see everything is in Celsius, and here's the hexagone. So you see it's pretty warm. 23 degrés Celsius. C'est bien. 20 degrés, 24. Here's La Rochelle. Even when I click on it, I get the city, and I get little weather terms that you're going to start recognizing as you work on the vocabulary. I see, for example, Quimper in Bretagne is peu nuageux, not really, just a little cloudy, peu nuageux. It's the same thing for Alençon. Le Havre, ensoleillé. So that means sunny. Il fait du soleil. I can also say il y a du soleil. Ensoleillé aussi à Thionville et à Colmar, peu nuageux. Auxerre, that's how they say Auxerre. It's an S sound for the X. Auxerre, averse, rain showers. Same for Aurillac, pluie. Well, that's even averse de pluie, showers. Pluie is just like 100% rain. Pluie also in Spain. Marseille, not very cloudy, peu nuageux. Corsica, peu nuageux, so that's Bastia. You see that there's weather predictions for demain, après-demain, and 3 days out, à 3 jours. Oh là là, il fait très beau en France. Le matin et l'après-midi. Matin, morning, après-midi, afternoon. Here you see la météo par région, so you can go from region to region if you want. You notice that we not only have the regions of France, but we also have Guadeloupe, Guyane, which is in South America, La Réunion, which is in the ocean, the Indian Ocean, I mean, Martinique, Mayotte, Nouvelle-Calédonie, down near Australia and New Zealand, Polynésie, Saint-Pierre-et-Miquelon. So you see that there are a lot of French-speaking territories still tied to France. These are not independent countries. These are countries considered overseas departments. And then I have the Bulletin Météo du lundi 23 juin. So you can listen to this. What I ask you to do is listen to it. Just listening. The art of weather prediction is really, as I said, it's an art. It's very poetic and much more complicated in terms of French grammar than what you learn to simply talk about weather with friends saying, oh bah, il y a du soleil, il fait très beau aujourd'hui, il fait chaud. But you can work on listening for the gist of it, listening for words, keywords like soleil, ensoleillé, nuage. What I'd like you to do then is listen to the Bulletin Météo, either you're listening to it today or you're coming in and the link will be renewed and you'll be listening a few days out. And just listening for the gist of it before, then go about your work, do your work as assigned on the first part, vocabulaire for chapitre 2, and then come back after you've done the work, maybe making note cards, writing out the vocabulary, listening to the vocabulary links, and doing the activities assigned on iLearn. Then come back and see if you can understand, a couple more words. Again, this is the immersion facet. It's the facet where you are very, very patient with yourself. You're happy if you can hear a couple words here and there. And you enjoy listening to the French, knowing that your mind is picking up on things that you don't even understand yet. but it's picking up on the diction and the accent and all of those beautiful phonetic traits that each language has. Oh, I see lots of bulletin météo. Look at some of the headlines will also help us with the vocabulary today. They are, of course, fascinated with what's going on in the U.S. There are so many extreme weather events in the U.S. So here there's a video, rencontre entre deux tornades dans le Nebraska. I'm sure you all heard about that double twin tornado in Nebraska. And then alerte sécheresse. So sécheresse, dry. So a drought. Sèche ou sec is dry. So sécheresse, it's a period of drought in one part of France, dans l'Hérault. And then they have had a lot of storms in France. 5 départements du Sud-Est, southeast of France, are under a weather alert. They talk in terms of, they don't say warnings or watches. They say vigilance orange for pluie, inondation, flooding, and orage, storms. There's a lot of flooding, as in the U.S. There's a lot of flooding in France too. In the Pyrénées, in the Hautes-Pyrénées mountains, unfortunately there was a fatality. Une crue is a flash flood. And I believe that they were talking, there was, a week ago, 2 or so, they had really these huge hail balls. There was hail that came down, les orages de grêle, in one part of France, I think towards the center. So now they're saying, oh là là, les orages de grêle vont coûter près de 900 millions d'euros aux assureurs. So the hailstorms are going to cost or more than 900 million euros for assureurs, insurance. So the insurance companies are going to have to pay out over 900 million euros. This is a little hint at the vocabulary lessons follow-up lesson, the grammar lesson of part 1, which talks about the near future using as the first verb that sets up for the near future, aller, and then the second verb in the infinitive, which is essentially the verb that is being projected, like a weather forecast, tomorrow. If I say tomorrow, it's going to be beautiful, I say il va faire beau. Here they're saying les orages vont coûter. That means they are going to cost. The verb is to cost. Over 900 million euros for insurance companies. And here you have another extreme weather event. It's not just in the US. Video, au moins 12 morts après une inondation soudaine en Bulgarie. So they're talking about, I guess it was now about a week ago, there was a sudden and violent storm that hit a town on the Black Sea. After many weeks of rain, a sudden flash flood. So weather is unpredictable all around the world these days because of the extremes, but at least for now, unlike last year, the French are getting some good weather. Last year they did not have a spring, they just had straight rain for 3 or 4 months, and everybody was in a horrible mood come July. So here's La Météo. I encourage you to explore this and to explore this. This is Météo France. And here again you can explore with all types of interactive links as you learn the vocabulary. You can use your book, but you can also use real life. Oh, look at this. This is an inverted question that you'll be seeing in your grammar lesson. Va-t-il pleuvoir dans l'heure? Va-t-il, so that's the inversion of il va pleuvoir. It is going to rain. So let's see, is it going to rain in the next hour or so in my old zip code? Va-t-il pleuvoir dans l'heure à Saint-Mandé? Oh, à 17h10, pas de précipitation. Oh, c'est super. You see that if it were to be the case, they may give me dark blue for a strong rain, pluie, or moderate, light, faible, or aucune. Prévision de pluie dans l'heure. Okay, so this is just a cute little service they have for those who need to know if they need their umbrella. Prévision métropole. Again, here's the prévision. Prévision mensuelle, prévision saisonnière. And I'd like to end by showing you something. You have a little bit of history. This happened this month in France in 1967. Oh, that's interesting. In 1967, between the 23rd and 25th of June, they had some violent tornadoes in the north of France. Now, I had no idea that there had ever been a tornado in France. Les tornades, I thought that was synonymous with the Midwest of the US. Here I see the different regions. Here I see the sunrise and sunset, but do you notice something? Lundi, 23 juin, 2014, Saint-Audrey. If there were any Audreys in the class, I would be congratulating her on her name day. Although I think that the superstition is you're supposed to say it the day before and not the day of. It's strange superstitions. Anyway, in France, especially in the old days, people wouldn't celebrate their birthday so much as their name day. Their name day, of course, is the day where it's the day of the saint that they were named after. It used to be that all names came from the calendar of saints because all French people were 100% in the old times Catholic. And up until the early 1990s, if you were born French in terms of my heritage is French, you had to choose a specific name from that calendar of names. And of course, if you were from Africa, since you weren't French, you could choose from traditional names of your country, Africa, or if you were Muslim, obviously you could choose from names of your, a Muslim name that you were given. These days that law doesn't exist, so whatever name you find beautiful, you can use for your child. But French people continue to have these names, these saint names, continue to inspire people, and when you get the weather, you learn what Saints' Day it is. For those of you who are Catholic, you'll recognize this. You probably use this calendar. But you'll be surprised to see it in the weather forecast of France, which is, according to France, a secular country, laïque, meaning it's not a country based on religion. Why do they still talk about saints in their weather? Voilà, ça c'est une question qui n'a pas de réponse. C'est une tradition. It's just a tradition. Voilà. Donc, Sainte Audrey. For all those Audrey, happy name day.